This one account I'll talk about with you today is so much better for saving money and keeping your money in the bank rather than a regular savings account. This account is a high yield savings account, and it's way much more better than a savings account due to the fact that you get more interest on your money the longer you have it in there. Traditional bank pays you around 0.01% on interest, and a high yield saving account can even go up to 4% or more depending on what bank you choose from. So let's compare this from a regular savings. If you added $5,000 into your regular savings, you'd get like 50 cents a year letting that cash sit in the savings account compared to a regular high yield saving account. So if you let that regular savings account have all your money in there, let's say you have $5,000 in the savings account, you would probably only get around 50 cents, and that's for $5,000. And if you compare that to a high yield saving account, you would get more than $200. So you can see why the difference is big and why I suggest you to use a high yield saving account rather than a savings account. But I'll get onto that even more. What I really like about this high yield saving account is that the more money you put in, the more returns you're gonna get. So what that means, you can look at it as like a snowball effect. So as a snowball goes down, rolling down a hill, imaginary, it'll probably get bigger and bigger. So the same thing can be said with a high yield saving account, because the high interest rate would keep generating you money without you having to do anything for that money. Now, this account isn't really used for investing. This is more of a savings account, as said in the name. So you can think of a down payment on a house. Maybe you're trying to buy a car, or you want like an emergency fund. As many people use this high yield saving account for an emergency fund. The emergency fund, you would keep around 3 to 6 months of your expenses in there just in case if something goes wrong. Let's say you lost your job or something terrible happens, you just have to have that money for emergencies. And you can probably think about things that can happen to you, and you would have to have some type of money. And with a high yield saving account, what I like about it is that it's not risky at all. This account is perfect for young people like myself and probably you, for you to start managing your money and learning about financial literacy. I personally have recommended this to some people in my life, but that's why I like the high yield saving account as an emergency fund or even short-term goal. As I've said earlier, this money isn't being invested, but it's money that you don't have invested and that is just sitting around, and you'd rather have that money work for you and make more money than having it lose value from inflation throughout the year. So this money is always going to be liquid cash. That means you're not going to have it in any sort of like account trapped down to it where you have to keep it in there for a specific amount of time. And it's also very easy to access this account's money. Now you may be wondering if this account is even safe to use, and there must be a catch, right? Well, this account is very safe to use as it's FDIC insured up to $250,000 for some accounts, and I'm pretty sure there's more for other accounts, but you would have to do your own research on that. I suggest using reputable banks. Like there's a lot of big name banks out there. Well, a high yield saving account is just to save for your money. Usually there's no fees for this money to be inside that account, but it does depend on the bank. So I would do some research and check if it has any monthly fees or stuff of that nature. Where can you open this account and how do you do this? You can open an account basically at many banks. There are many options to choose from. Some big banks that I can think of from the top of my head are like Discover, SoFi, Capital One, and Wealthfront. There's also like a lot of different types of online banking systems. I would do my research again and just make sure to like look at the fine print, because sometimes there might say something like 5.3% interest, but it might also be that high interest for a little bit and then it goes down to like 2%. But I would consider the pros and cons of different banks. Just choose what is best for you and try to make sure to get something in the range of around 3 to 4% interest if you can. Me personally, I like to use the Capital One. It doesn't have any monthly fees, and I don't have to have a minimum deposit every month. I don't have to have a minimum amount of dollars in that account. What I currently do, every time I get a paycheck, I put a small percentage of that money. I do like around $20 maybe. Just little things. It doesn't have to be that progressive at first. And what I suggest to you is that you just give it a try and you do a little bit of money every paycheck and slowly build up to it and add more up to it. This will like build your discipline. I know it builds my discipline because before I had this account, I didn't really track my expenses, but now I do. I track my expenses and I also make sure to always add money into this account. Whenever I don't have enough money to add into this account, I'll just either do it again the other day. I like to think of this account as a small stepping stone for your financial journey. I don't want like anybody to think that they're gonna be stressed out or have to be pressured from this, but I suggest you start right now. Yeah, like whenever you watch this video, I want you to start creating this account right after this video ends. And just like, if you want to, you can learn a little bit more about this account. I'll make a video on this another day. I want to show people like what I do and how I manage my finances and my personal wealth journey, because right now I'm kind of starting from the bottom and I'm trying to build my way up. But yeah, I think this is a great stepping stone for you guys. Definitely start it right now or whenever you can. If you guys learned anything from this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe to me, as this will help push out more content. And I plan on posting more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.